to the Chapel of Poetry. And today concludes the first week of National Poetry Month. And today we will begin this celebration of poetry with the words of Walt Whitman. With the words of Walt Whitman, I had an echo, so I had to turn that off. We will be invoking Father Walt, the father of free verse poetry. And then we will begin with the word of Care Bear, Bard of the Cards, and she will be here soon. But first, I am going to channel back into the past the word of Father Walt Whitman with this poem. Who goes there, hankering, gross, mystical, nude? How is it I extract strength from the beef that I eat? What is man, anyhow? What am I? What are you? All I mark as my own, you shall offset it with your own, else it were time lost listening to me. I do not snivel that would the world over, that months are vacuums and the ground but wallow and filth, whimpering, whispering, tickling and tuckling fold with powders for invalids. Conformity goes to the fourth removed. I hear my hat as I please, indoors or out. What should I pray? What should I pray to the sky? Hello there, sky. What should I pray? Why should I venerate and be ceremonious to this word? Having pried through the strata, analyzed to the hair, counseled with doctors, calculated clothes, find no sweater, sweeter fat than sticks of my own bones. Iceberg VR, hello there and welcome. And welcome, Care Bear. This might be a good time to start the process of logging in. I know I am solid and sound. I know the sound of these words. To me, converging objects of the universe perpetually flowing are all written to me, to you, and I must get what this writing means. I am deathless, lifeless. I know this orbit of mine cannot be swept by a carpenter's compass. I know I shall pass like a child's carculel. I butchered that word as well, invoking Walt Whitman right here. Cut into the middle of this line, cut with a burnt stick at night. Care Bear, log on now if you can hear me, hear Walt speak these words. I know I am august. I do not trouble my spirit to vindicate itself, to be understood, to see the elementary laws, never apologize. I reckon I have no prouder than the level I plant myself. After all, I exist. I am. That is enough. That is enough. If no other in the world be aware, I sit content. And if each and all be aware, I sit content. One world aware, and by far, the world largest to me that is myself, and whether I come today or in 10,000 or 10 million years, I can cheerfully take it now, or with equal cheerfulness, I can wait. My foothold is tenoned and mortised at what you call dissolution, and I know the amplitude of time. And I embellished lots of words into that poem by Walt Whitman, and Care Bear is here to
Hi.
celebrate her word in the chapel of poetry right now. Care
Hi.
Bear,
Hi, everyone. So, this one is fresh today, and I will be sharing this more than once today. Truth waves. I feel the pull of the ocean tides, waves breaking in a cosmic flow. As my foot lands where the water first meets sand, a cooling bliss washes over me. The turquoise foam rises and hugs my ankles, surrendering any resistance to the sweet serenity. Voices whisper with each liquid spiral, a familiar call echoes in the winds. A magnetic hum surges in the distance as we cross the currents, spanning seven seas. Our lights signal to one another, our energetic bodies circle together. Iridescent ripples shimmer in the sun and dance in the moonlight. Resting on our golden pyramids, we congregate and light the crystalline blue cap of our nodes. Mother Gaia, peace, Father Sky, truth, joy, unity, and love. These are the truth waves we ride. When no one else loves, we always will. Rewriting energy signatures, painting over the shadows lurking in the depths. We shine our beacon and nuke with pure love the leviathans that threaten our tranquility. As certain as the moon has phases, we must always stand together because our purpose is never done. I feel the pull as the seas recede, traveling backwards, although I am not moving. The time to retreat has come, stepping back onto dry grains of sand. A bitter sweetness blankets my heart, replaced with hope for the future, knowing we will all meet again soon.
wow, that's good.
It's based off of Truth Wave Meditation. It's actually a YouTube channel,
Wow,
and there's a meditation, My Time, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, and then one at 9:45 p.m. Eastern every day. He does
Hmm.
it every day. And those nodes, he has the pyramids and everything. So I just it a few of the lines of this were written during a meditation. Sorry, Victor. But I just like he was like, pull your energy back.
Hmm.
I like your little looking glass. He was like, pull your energy back. And then it was like I felt like, when you stand like right where the ocean, like when
Hmm.
it just pulls back and it feels like you're like traveling, but you're not, like it was weird. I felt like it was just like
Yeah, it's
everybody was just pulling away. And I was just like, wow, I've got to write about this. And yeah, I like how that evolved.
hmm.
So that was cool.
So pulling back, it's that ocean-induced vertigo.
It does. It's disorienting.
Yeah.
It is. My mom, it really bothers her when she gets very disoriented with it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was
Hmm.
uh this one's really short. I was sifting through my phone notes and I found a song I was writing. I'm not going to sing it because I can't remember the melody. They probably have it on my phone somewhere. I've got to go through some videos. Um, but this isn't meant to be a song. My
Hmm.
feet keep drifting and lifting high above the ground. My daydreams, my night dreams, whatever the heck I want to dream. Wrapped in this cloud until I fall back down. I'm using this cloud to write the song I'm singing now. Before it ends, I hit the ground. Don't bother me until I come back down.
Hmm.
I thought I was like, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So then maybe what you could try to do is is put that into an AI music generator and see what happens.
Mm. I like how you think, Bill.
Yeah, yeah, you should try
Yeah,
that.
that's
So,
why we're friends.
in keeping with my spirit of the Chapel of Poetry, I will read a couple poems that I wrote right this morning, right before actual
Nice.
started, and then if you have any other ones that you've written this week, you can go do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Have hope in trying to channel Walt Whitman. I have a few of these cards that I pulled, and then
Oh,
we can see what we can come up with.
okay.
All right, all right. Voices dart in all directions. Words assault my ability to sort them out. A cacophony of ideas jumble together into a deluge of sound. Listen, live, live. Open your ear to your story. Be honest. What do you think of me? Wait, don't answer that. Let me put this mask on first. Am I me enough? Am I crazy enough? Am I neurotic enough? Am I sane enough? Do you think good thoughts about me? In the heart of the internet, who am I?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Let
Wow.
me just try another.
How do you follow that?
Let me try. Oh, yeah, you do another one, and then I have some other ones that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. This one's a little dark. It's based off of a dream that I had. And I
Is it?
know like there's a lot of kind of fear and stuff that's coming around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not ET.
Well.
I actually dreamt I was in the Holocaust.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a great photo, but but it's
That's awesome.
but
Wow.
but there's
But
there's a big but there. There's a big giant but. It's not what you think. When I told Ange of where I took the picture at, then she understood.
Ah, okay. You'll
There
have
is
to
a
fill me in.
you've seen Men in Black, haven't you?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of those type of pictures
Ah, okay, okay.
with with
Cool.
with something erased right out of it.
Huh. I'll see the original one. That'd be fun.
The original one, just go Google Seattle Center and what's in Seattle Center.
Okay. All right.
What
Well,
what exists
let
in
me write this down
yeah.
because
You,
I don't have a good memory.
what exists in Seattle? There's a very famous landmark in Seattle. It was for a World's Fair that they built specifically for a World's Fair.
Ah, goodness.
Um,
Yep, yep. The thing. Yeah,
yeah.
the thing. Listen to me.
All right. I'll just put it on my computer, and that way I can spoil it for everybody. But you get started here.
Okay, you want me to read? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this one's dark. This was a nightmare, okay, that I had. Hate is the sound the shiny boots made, relishing the fear that echoed in silence. Click, stomp, click. I hold my breath, my heart beating so loudly. What if they have a stethoscope that can pick up its sound? My ears ring as panic sets in, praying, please don't, please just let me disappear. All it is, a normal wall. No one hides behind it. My blood is just that, no different from your own. If I am God's chosen one, his child, where is he now? I close my eyes and imagine a door I can open into a safe place, away from the misery and disgrace. But that door opens to another door. I run, slamming them behind me, tears stinging my eyes. They will find me here. They will find me. No door can hide me from their wicked persistence. I will myself to slip into the void, a liminal space in the attic of my mind. I count their footsteps as I descend into the blackness. 20, 19, 18, 17. My brain starts to tingle. My tongue numbs and spots light up behind my eyelids. 16, 15, 14. I can't finish counting before the abyss takes me into its vast arms, shrouding me from consciousness, knowing in this hell it's the only peace I can find.
Mm, wow. That's pretty. That's pretty deep. And I was thinking, the numbers counting back, and I had a poem like that similar too. So this is
Cool. Hey, Ange. Mwah.
a picture of, but I took the picture from a different angle.
Wow. That looks cool. I like that.
Yeah. So this is in
Thanks,
Seattle,
Ange.
famous monument, and the first time I visited there, where I drove myself, I was down there by Seattle Center, and I took that picture. And I looked when I got home and I looked at it. "Hey, you know what? If I just erase all of this stuff behind it, I got this great UFO picture."
You are so smart. You see things in a very unique way. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Well, it's also like, I have done dangerous things with a camera.
I have too.
You know, and the viewpoint of being in the middle of the road is like none other.
Yeah.
You don't, because when you're on a sidewalk, you're on the side, but
It's that Aries in you, that daredevil.
being right in it with traffic, that's just like, and it that vantage point is really interesting, and it looks really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mine are more of like might be regrets later. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, or just like something that I did that, I went across an expressway on foot once in Seattle.
Wow,
It
that
was
that
I
sounds awful.
jumped the concrete barrier, but it was like, okay, here I usually wasn't gonna like do talk during one of these things, but we're just gonna just go
This is organic.
going as it goes. And it was during Seafair, and I had booked a dinner date that same day, and I was down
A dinner date.
on foot, and I was gonna be supposed to be making dinner from some young lady. I don't remember, anyway, that was, I don't even think it even worked, but uh I um I was down near Seattle Center. Seafair was going on. There was like a parade, and it had completely blocked. It had severed the line of so I couldn't get across because of the parade, and I needed to get across, but I had because I lived 2 miles from. I was like 2 miles from this spot, and um and I first tried a cab, but they couldn't get across. I couldn't get across
Wow.
with the bus. And so I went across on foot, and a I went across an expressway to get across that line where the traffic was. And across there wasn't really any traffic coming down it because it was all blocked
It's
off.
a nightmare.
There could have been. And so I ran across that expressway, and I got around to the other side, and then got into a different zone. Then I was able to hail a cab in order to get back. But I was thinking I'm gonna have to walk back on foot, and it was like, okay, all right, I gotta get there. This date's gonna happen, and and I got like, how am I gonna get there in time? And he didn't have the phone number and everything. How am I gonna get there? It's like, oh no, 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 you know.
It's like a movie.
And I don't remember anything other than I don't know, remember if the date happened or anything, and it probably didn't because I probably didn't get there in time. But nevertheless, I was there, and then this
If
franticness of
they
needing
only knew the effort. They
yeah,
only knew.
someplace else, and then going across an expressway on foot, which you never do. And it was like Aurora Avenue, and that was like one of those avenues where
Is that, like, not a great avenue, or is it?
no, it's not that. It's that you would frequently get cars going 60, 70 miles an hour. And so
Holy crap.
an inner city expressway, and then you get funneled in, you get and you can get yourself and completely bypass downtown and go
Mhm.
right down into like
I
Soto.
know, yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I've been through Atlanta a few times, and that was something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
People go fast, yeah.
On that expressway, I think there's four exits, so you can one if you want to go to the public market, you can go to the public market. If you want to go someplace else, you can go someplace else. And if you need to get to Capitol Hill, you can get to Capitol Hill. And then its final destination takes you right down to the South Downtown. And then if you want to go to like the Amtrak station, yeah, you can do that. And which that same exit, I believe, is the one that takes you also to the Quest Stadium, to where if you want to go watch football or baseball or whatever, it's all right.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
You just got the whole thing planned out, don't you?
yeah. All right, let's let me
Without
do
further ado.
another a poem. And do you have more poems too? You do.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Let's see these. Let me see. Maybe I'll just run them all. Oh, that's right. This is okay. I think I'm gonna run these two together because I think they'll. Okay. All right. Let's just put these two together. How do we respond when awareness focuses in on the image in the mirror? To those who do it, what are you thinking? Catfishing for it in crazy places? Sharing your experience in front of a mirror, in front of a camera, for no one to see, to hear, to think, to question? How do I even begin? Maybe those two didn't belong together.
I didn't notice. I forgot that you were mashing your poems together. Hold up. Let me nah. Can I've got a cough. Like I had strep throat this week, so hold on.
Yeah.
Clear the throat chakra. All right. Okay, so don't know why I really feel like making that sound, but I did. You're welcome.
What are you doing? I'll tell you what Walt Whitman.
Okay, I know what I want to do. Uh, actually, I'm gonna read a few haikus, and in that meantime, I'm gonna find the card, the tarot card that goes with this poem, so
Okay.
you can see it. It'll be better that way. All right. So I've been on a haiku kick, and I first wrote this poem, and then I pared it down to a haiku, and it's about my little twin girls. Fairy blossoms live in my house. That's, I think, apparently the title.
Very
Fairy
bluff.
blossoms, yes, fairy blossoms grow in my home. Like bluebells chiming, laughter echoes down the hall. These girls are magic, their light is electric, illuminating every crevice, chasing the shadows away. So yeah, I just like kind of saw them like as these like little fairies, like giggling, like hee 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 hee. They're always like running away from me, and they've kind of got that like little trickster spirit to them too.
Yeah.
This is that pared down into a haiku.
Hmm.
Like bluebells chiming, laughter echoes down the hall, tiptoes softly sing.
Hmm. Do you want to read the other one first again, please?
You want to hear the first one? Okay. Yeah, sure. Fairy blossoms grow in my home, like bluebells chiming. Laughter echoes down the hall. These girls are magic. Their light is electric, illuminating every crevice, chasing the shadows away.
Chasing the shadows away.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking when you're reading that, I was thinking of a novel, a sort of a fantasy novel called Fairy Tale. I think it was by Raymond Eves. Raymond Eves wrote a fantasy novel series that's still in print and it published in the 80s, and it was very much so after Tolkien's um, Lord of the Rings. And so very few of those fantasy novels that are written in that or any novel are still in print after 20, 30, 40 years. But Raymond Eves' Rift War series is still in print. Only the first two novels are any good, but of the four, I think he probably milked it out for like 8 novels. I don't know. It might, people think.
That's milking. Yeah.
But nevertheless, this book, Fairy Tale, is like a very dark fantasy where you think of these fairies like they're like demons. Maybe at that time of his life he was having children and trying to get to sleep and everything else. His little fairies were
Right.
dark on him in his non-sleep mind, his sleep deprived mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can have some dark thoughts.
Mhm.
You can have some, and then you're like, "Okay,
It's like, where did that
all
come from?
right, settle down, it's okay." Yeah, try not to hate yourself too much for that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I went, like, on a trail of writing, haikus, and I wrote them almost all in one day. Um, and some favorites. And, with haikus, it's really about writing about nature, right? Like, a lot of them tend to uh, nature tends to be, um, an inspiration for those. All right.
Mhm.
Cotton candy sky, melting on the horizon, swallowed by the night. That's a haiku about sunset.
Cotton candy sky swallowing the night?
Cotton candy sky, melting on the horizon, swallowed by the night.
Oh, okay. I get it. I
So,
see.
yeah, so cotton candies, and then I was just like, "Well, let's just think of
Hmm.
it like eating it."
Yeah, those
Yeah,
those clouds certainly seem really tasty sometimes, especially
they do.
the sunset, sunrise when they get maybe they have different colors and they're pinky and different things. Just not that.
Oh, yeah, they look yummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
My son, he was like, "Yeah, they do they look like cotton candy, they do." Um, oh, thank you, Vivian, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I was gonna say, welcome, Vivian. I was like looking for one of my books that had that. Well, I mean, I got lots of them around. Anyway, we're not gonna do that now.
I
So
thought
one
I thought I had one of yours on my table. It must be off to the
you
side over here, yeah.
have that book because I sent you that book found on bathroom walls, and so the poem in it that I'd like you to read is "Monsters Have Blue Eyes."
I do.
Monsters have blue eyes, and so
Yes.
and then while you have that poem, can you see it have it handy there?
Well, I don't know. I know I need to grab,
Okay, it's not
that other
hand.
tarot deck.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
not.
I don't think it's handy. It might be too distracting, but I do need to grab my tarot deck so I
What
can,
what was the
find
tarot?
that one card for my poem.
Yeah, what was the tarot card that was associated with it? And I can pull it right out of this deck.
Well, I wrote it based off of the Tarot of the Abyss one.
Oh, the Tarot of the Abyss.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, I mean, so it's not a RWS, yeah. I mean, it's a RWS based system, but it's her artistic
Yeah. Well, my
interpretation.
deck is right over there, but yours is closer by. So right.
And it's right my hands are right on it, and poof, I'm
Oh,
back. Yeah, it's like a little turn, a
all
little
right.
pirouette. Alright. You wanna share one, Bill?
I will do that. Um, I'll do that. I think this is the last one I wrote today. So because there's 6 days, we're the 6th day of National Poetry Month, and I wrote 6 poems, and most of them are already strung together into one poem. And so this was the 6th one that I wrote. I did a thing today, apologizing in advance, disappearing into a maelstrom of motion, of emotion, emoting everything I did but gratitude for being alive for you today. Let me read that again.
Yeah, I wanna hear that again.
I did a thing today, apologizing in advance, disappearing into a maelstrom of emotion, emoting everything but gratitude for being alive for you today.
I like that. You know what I like about yours is, like, when you first started it, I thought you were just still, like, just talking to me, and I was like, "Whoa, what did he do?" Like, so it just pulled me right in. I was like, "Wait, this is the poem."
It's talking poetry.
Yeah. I
Poetry.
was like, "Wait, like, do I
Mhm.
need to get some popcorn? What'd you do, Bill?"
And then we'll test you on how good you are at spinning poetry in the moment.
I will tell you right now, 100%. Like, sometimes I get some luck, but most of the times, yeah, no, I struggle with that, but you know what? I keep trying anyways, so there.
All right. I will do- I have I have gone into my real life tarot deck, and I four cards popped out when I was like thinking Walt Whitman,
Mhm.
and I'm going to show you the four cards. This one is the deleter. This is a tree. This is a shot of Botox, and this is a butterfly net with a guy chasing around dollar bills trying to catch them in a butterfly. Those are the
What is this deck? What is this?
called the real life tarot deck.
Yeah, I like it.
So you have the vomiting Cupid, and so this is actually what it's supposed to be is that you have a party and people say, "Oh yeah, I want a tarot reading." So instead of pulling out your tarot deck, you pull out this other deck. And because you're maybe everyone's half inebriated and everything, and so you have other cards like here, the cult, Mhm. The microdoser, um, an unplugged game controller,
Oh, gosh forbid. But it should be wireless these days, though.
right?
Mm.
Old apartments, or let's say delete.
Delete.
Let me go. Let me see. Oh, here's one. It is a stinking bag of trash.
Literally.
And
Throw you
then
gotta throw something out in your life right now.
yeah, this one here, it looks like a sports bra.
Yeah, on a but it's, like, being
Hold,
displayed at museum.
yes, on a pedestal,
Yeah,
holding the out. And
which is funny.
oh, here we go. It is the vomit bag. It's on the backside of the nausea. A vomit bag.
Mhm.
So
Funny.
you know what I
The sunroom door, sorry.
okay. Let's see. I actually in my writers group I there was a few cards that I pulled out, and I think the vomit bag one was one of them. Let's see. Let me see if this is it. Okay, yeah. It doesn't make sense, but it's like one of those 5-minute poems. Is it this one or was it the last week's one?
Mm.
I think it was the last week's ones I wrote because I had that vomit bag in it.
Do you want me to read one?
Why don't you read one while I'm looking?
Okay. Alright. Hold on. Okay. Alright. The Fool. Long locks in a whirlwind, spirit feather light, she glides, no burdens, no fears, weightless and pure. The world is wild and bright, the future sings to her, songs of freedom. Possibility paves the way, fueled on faith alone. Her soul writes the map to adventures unknown. Her life a blank canvas stretched out before her, no ending in sight. Each step forward divines a fresh hue in shades of sweet surrender, like a bird in flight. She paints a bridge ahead across wide open spaces, free falling into blue. She's no fool, just a woman living a life brand new.
Hmm. Can you read the last two stanzas again?
Like in shades of sweet surrender. Okay, in shades of sweet surrender, like a bird in flight, she paints a bridge ahead across wide open spaces, free falling into blue. She's no fool, just a woman living a life brand new. That was a little nod to Tom Petty in there with across wide open spaces.
Hmm.
Into the great wide open. You know that one in Free Falling, that song? Yeah.
That's
Thanks.
all right. All right. I'm gonna find this one other card here,
Hey,
and
I need to go check on my girls real quick. Is that okay? Like,
do that,
can I
and
be
then
right back? Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me check on them real quick, okay?
while you're checking on them, I will
I know you'll keep them entertained.
one
All right. I'll be back.
fear, fear, fear never rests. It's the gift that keeps on giving more fear. Joints and marrow, they ache. Neither is there any creature of the day or night. This doesn't make sense, I know, because I'm choosing random words off a page to try to create a picture in your mind from words. Spin from right here, and the next verse starts with admit one, admit one person to the show. It was beautiful the way it opened, profound, chasing shadows, an image, an image dripping with chills, dripping with the chills. And this guy wanders through a yard, half dead, half alive, lost, lost in a world he did not make, lost in a world he did not make, growing extra heads, not knowing which way to turn. Do I go to the right? Am I this person? Do I go straight ahead? Am I that person? Do I go to the left? Am I this other person? Fear, poem, spontaneous words erupt in this moment. Fear, poem, words spontaneously erupt in this moment like a zigzaggy line on a map. It was like your trip was planned out by a mouse. A mouse. A mouse who kept hitting the delete button for where you wanted to go. This trip turned into a Pinocchio's fantasy. Pinocchio's fantasy, a promise to go to this, a buffed out guy standing alongside the road with a sign that read, A troll lives in my heart. A troll lives in my heart. A troll lives in my heart. Can you see me standing there by that tree, begging for money? Can you see me begging for that shat coin you are peddling to us from D.C., that district of corruption in the heartbeat, beat, beat of this country? That fear of this poem came out of a cave with this alien. This alien crawled into this hole in the wall like Jesus into the tomb. Maybe this is Jesus, the Jesus we feared would come again soon.
Sorry, I'm still muted. Wow, cool. Yeah, sorry, I had to take care of my girls.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll read this other poem based on some of these cards. I can't find one of them. Starts out here with, "You make me sick with your needles and syringes left all over the bathroom floor. You said it was Botox, but who self-medicates Botox at home? 12 cats crawling around, hungry, thirsty for attention, while you bite your fingernails down to the quick, complaining that the latest episode of Big Brother didn't go your way." As I rode home on that 737 MAX, I thought about you when I read the instructions on the vomit bag.
Phil, I can't follow anything like that. Like you're so good at that. You're so good at that.
Oh, that was that Botox one. That was that other one that I drawed. Oh, look! And there it was, the anxiety card. It was right there, and I didn't even realize it.
Ah.
And here's the
What
Botox.
are those nail clippings? The
They're nail
anxiety?
clippings. Yeah,
But they're
nail.
probably bit off. Yeah.
Yeah, they were bit off. Yeah. Well, you can practice. You can practice. You can practice doing this kind of stuff, and pretty soon you'll be a master at it. There was
Yeah.
years ago, when I was like in Seattle and fully immersed in the spoken word poetry scene, and that's one of the other than it was like at the end of I went up there. Oregon has always had a depressed economy. I don't know if it still is. I'm sure it still goes back into it because Oregon is just a really a big agriculture state.
Mhm.
State that it's a and so every time there's been like a dip in the economy, it's just like no one can find any jobs or anything. And that was
Mhm.
what my young years were like. It was like cannot find work, cannot get work, cannot really get meaningful work or anything like that. And so after the 9/11 thing, and then the economy was destroyed in this country, pretty much it seemed like it was. I don't know if it was for you where you're at, but it certainly was here. I don't know where I was going with this, but I my buddy went through a divorce, and he invited me up to Seattle, and I turned it down. I turned it down, but then I accepted, and then but so I went for new opportunities, but I also went there for the spoken word poetry. And while I was
Nice.
there was I listened to a lecture about an indigenous American who talked about how to write oral poetry, how to write poetry
Oh.
clearly from the perspective of not writing it down in a pen, but he talked about writing a poem and writing poetry with by first speaking it into existence and then
Wow, that's powerful.
speaking it first. And so that's
Mm.
I wrote a poem about that, and I did. I wrote it first completely. I think I was at war. I was at a job, and it was like the job that I got. One of the other poets that I ran across, he got the job for me, and after I was there, I realized why he was so hasty to want to leave the job because
Mm.
it was at a podiatrist's office. This podiatrist, she also sold shoes, but man, she was fucking nuts.
Wow, the
I mean, I,
podiatrist.
I mean, it's just like no, and I never worked for somebody who one. I never worked for an egomaniac, but I also
Oh,
never
those look nice.
for somebody. Thank you, Ange. I never worked for somebody who was nuts. And I stayed on that job for 13 months, which was longer than anyone had ever at that time, had longer than anyone else had been on that job.
Well, that's
Yeah.
an accomplishment, I guess.
And while
Yeah.
I was there, I had learned that there were several of her ex-employees that that had filed restraining orders against her. And you know, and everything. And welcome, Elizabeth, welcome.
Hi,
So this
Elizabeth.
my priest shirt that I bought in 2016 when I
You were studying?
chapel of poetry on one of my other earlier channels, and
Oh.
instead I put this a dollar bill in the collar and to you know just to be that
Yeah.
be the
Give it a
priest
little
be
edge.
the priest of poetry today. So if you got one more poem because
Well,
we got
thank you, Elizabeth.
and then
Yeah.
I will close out with these four cards here and we'll in a moment.
Okay. Yeah, like what I let's see. What I'll do is just read a couple of more haikus. How's that? The ancient moon weeps, sad sighs she holds to herself, Gaia's silent tears. You want me to read
Okay.
it again?
Yeah. I was just getting started. I was getting started, and I interrupted your poetry with some, and I shouldn't have
No,
done
no,
that.
you're fine. If you notice, like I'm not easily phased.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
for some reason I got this bug. I had a little bit of the coffee left, and I thought, well, why don't I make that bong water sound you can make with cup water? So
You're
that was
silly.
what I did. It's like this has been a wonderful day.
Always with the ASMR. That's funny, Elizabeth. The ancient moon weeps, sad sighs she holds to herself, Gaia's silent tears.
Nice silent. Mm,
Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes I'm thinking about like Earth and, like the moon, Earth and water elements are more receptive.
yeah.
And just taking in all that pain, holding it in. So, but she lets it out sometimes, but I think she cries silently. So it was kind of a day I was feeling like maybe I was feeling Mother Gaia and needed a little extra love that day. And then there's been a lot of spider talk lately, and even Ramon has a new tarantula now.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
spiders, okay, it's fine. You can
mhm.
have snakes for pets. I don't care. But
So
I
this
don't.
is one about spiders, a spider that I was watching. Spider webs of fate sparkle in the morning dew, watching and waiting.
Watching and waiting. And welcome,
Yeah.
Marie and
And then
Elizabeth.
I read that to my husband, and he was like,
Hmm.
"But you know that they're not doing that in the morning." I was like, "Well, why was I watching one? It was like later morning. Like, give me a break." Like, I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, I
he's
found that home. I was
he's
looking
just like that.
in the book. Yeah. Found on Bathroom Walls book that
Yes,
the
yes.
writer group said was a terrible idea for a poem. And not a book. Everything about it was a terrible idea. But this was like,
Who cares about them?
sure, in my favorite coffee shop in Seattle. And the guy, they had done the bathroom like a modern art piece. And so
Yeah.
the last owners of this coffee shop, it was called Uncle Elizabeth's. And when it was early on in its days, it was an internet cafe. It was just right down the street from where I lived. And then the guy, it was it was open till like 2 a.m. And it was a really seedy place because on the upper floor there was a wet house there, and a wet house, and then it was also a bathhouse. There was a bathhouse and a wet house, and the bathhouse,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wet house was it was called Uncle Elizabeth's, yeah. And
Mhm.
the that was the name of the coffee shop. And the wet house had well, okay, you had people who were once on the street, and they put them in this shelter, this living place, and they didn't have to give up the booze. They didn't have the requirements like a lot of those places had, is where they had to go through 12-step programs, and if they failed, they didn't have to give up the booze or whatever they're on. There were lots of people who are really interesting there. I can just say that they're really
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm sure.
And I saw a lot of interesting things there when I went to that coffee shop, especially after midnight. And internet cafe, you had the old, and so like one time I was there watching, I was on there, and looking up something or whatever. And then in the computer stall right next to me, there was a guy, and he had his pants down to his ankles, and he had like his sweatshirt right over his lap. And then I looked at the screen, and it was just like a bunch of feet there, and I'm thinking, oh, this is nice. And then other times you would go into this coffee shop, and then at midnight, and there were prostitutes making deals or whatever. They were like setting up their schedules and
Like the
everything.
Wild West.
It was 2 blocks from my place. And so, anyways, when the brothers took it over, and so the guy who owned it, he left to go to Indiana because he had to go take care of his folks, and so he sold the coffee shop to one of his employees. And then that guy brought his brother in, and his brother is a PhD in physics now at University of Washington, and his father was a Nobel Prize winner in genetics.
Wow.
And that's what these kids, but they painted the restroom in this place like
Can you
this.
imagine?
And it
Oh.
was a modern art piece in there,
Ah.
and so the guy who bought it, well, I don't think he went to college. He was a musician, a very gifted musician, but they were all really gifted. And their uncle was a Holocaust survivor.
Wow.
Or yeah, that was maybe the grandfather fled or something like that. There was a yeah, it was kind of a
Wow.
that was kind of the and anyways, I had a lot of inspiration from that place and thinking of how random things are. But the whole bathhouse thing and everything, and I have stories about that. I never went in there. I had coworkers who did.
Woo.
I had coworkers who did go into that place, and I had a coworker that went in there because I worked in a door and window store, and one of my coworkers was in that bathhouse up there installing a door, and he felt like he needed to like cover himself, in his backside, like something bad was going to happen to him at any given time. Anyways, that kind of went kind of seedy really fast. Anyways, I'm gonna read this because this one was that you read that poem that had in your nightmare, and you had this countdown of the numbers, and this poem
Oh,
here,
cool. I want to hear that. Yeah. Okay,
countdown.
cool.
Monsters have blue eyes. Are you okay? He asked. I looked away, haunted. A meaningless count of numbers jumbled inside my head. If I entomb the memory under a litany of fractions, sometimes it dulls the pain. A pale sun shines, shuttering the fragment into a moment. Music boiled and foamed. The trailer park reminds me. Faces contort like sun-stained mushrooms. Guilt crests my brow. I imagined callous hands and the crest of frost clambering between legs. Childlike, not knowing what to do, I collapsed. I spend hours kneeling down on the floor, shuffling through scraps of paper. I uncover a dozen books on how to breathe. I saw a tree. I saw a bird seated on a tree alone. He had blue eyes, 9/10, 7/4, 1/3, one. There are ways I keep falling, I answered. I am not here. There's that poem.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to close off, I think. That's really good.
Goes off from there, or we see what these cards and Walt Whitman have to say.
I don't know. I've got some things I've got to go run and do.
You see, I resign myself to you. I guess what you mean. I behold from the beach your crooked, inviting fingers. I believe you refuse to go back without feeling of me. We must turn. We must turn together. I undress. Hurry me out of sight of the land. Cushion my soft rock me in billowy drowse. Dash me with amours wet. I can repay you with Botox syringes in that skinny behind of yours. I can repay you, but you gotta run around that park and catch them with this net. I can repay you in in kind, but you gotta run around that tree. You gotta run around that tree. I gotta watch you because Walt Whitman liked watching He liked watching from afar, and he was good. And if he lived today, he would be like a mad deleter, deleting those contents in your phone from all those folks who told you no. No, you cannot bring that dog into this restaurant. Walt Whitman, Walt Whitman, thank you for your words today. Walt Whitman, freestyling poetry in the park, stringing together ideas like notes on the wall. It's not a conspiracy, I swear to you. All you gotta do is connect the dots with string on the wall, and you will see that I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. It's not crazy to do this to yourself. It's not crazy. It's not crazy to wear bunny ears. It's not crazy to wear a priest shirt when you're not a priest. It's not crazy to practice poetry. It's not crazy. Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you for the word of poetry today in the chapel of poetry in this after church chat with Gary Bear, part of the cause, and all of you here today. Thank you, Roots and Waves. Thank you, More Intuitive Me. Thank
Yes,
you,
thank you, thank
Living Me.
you.
And thank you, everyone else who has celebrated this day with us
Yes,
together.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. This has been fun, Bill, and I will take you up on those cards one day. I
Yeah,
will. I promise.
yeah, I'll draw them in advance, and you can write that poem for next week. We just won't be on so long.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Sounds good. Oh, and maybe the week after next. So I won't be here next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the week after next? I will draw 5 cards for you. I'll just do it right now. Okay,
What?
here's
You want me to write about them like in between then? Or you
okay.
want me
It's that ugly pothole you ran across yesterday.
let's see. I see Kronos. I
The ugly
see like
pothole
yeah.
you crossed yesterday. Okay. And here's the next one. It's coming out random. It's a random card.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it just happened at random that I pulled the comfort pet. The comfort
The
pet.
support dog.
Support dog. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay. Also,
yeah.
yeah, this is also the next one. A catfish. You know what? I mentioned catfish in one of my poems. Catfishing.
Yes, you
Cat.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, the catfish. Oh my lord. This is
So
gonna
this
be funny.
deck is gonna be good for a divinity. And this here is a TV dinner.
I thought it was a wedding ring for a minute. I'm like, what?
Your wedding ring TV dinner. Okay. And that is 4, and one more makes 5, and we will both do a poem like this.
What was the
And
fifth one?
cut the deck. I cut the deck right, and I'm gonna draw the top card. Comes out. It's meat hanging on a hook. All right, you got that.
Okay.
All right, I'm
Okay,
gonna
so meat on a hook, TV
read
dinner, catfish again, support dog, where are you?
and
I
a
fell in a pothole.
pothole, pot roast in a pothole.
And my support dog left me, so I fell in a pothole.
And if everyone else listening in wants to write a poem, or you're watching this on the replay, please write a poem with those and come back in 2 weeks when she's back on. I'm going to be back on next week. I'm going to do this again. Maybe I'll have somebody here helping me. If not, I'll just come on blind. But I really would be nice if someone else could come on and be with me
Yeah,
today.
it's more fun that way, right? Yeah.
Or, in National Poetry Month. And thank you very much, Karen, for being here. This has been so much fun. Yes, Elizabeth, did you want to be my guest next week for this? We'll talk
Ooh la la.
when I come onto your channel and read. Okay, bye bye,
All
and
right.
we'll great week. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Welcome.